Hey there, this is Teacher Julian from Fibo Kids Art Academy, and welcome to another amazing art class. Today, we are going to be drawing a picture of Abraham Lincoln. Let me go ahead and show you my desk so you can see what we're going to be making today. All right, so here is our picture for today. You can see that this is kind of a characterized version of Abraham Lincoln, but we're going to be using our markers, we're going to be using our watercolors and color pencils and crayons to create this really fun picture today. You're also going to need your pencil, a Sharpie, and an eraser for our project. Without further ado, let's get started. So for our picture today, we're actually going to start with a final draw. We're just going to get right into it, no practice draw necessary. And I'm going to set some of these items off to the side. And what I want you to do is I want you to have your pencil in hand. I'm going to be using a Sharpie to draw today, but this is only because my pencil does not show up super well, so I want to make sure that you are able to see. Your first step is to take your paper and turn it vertically, like so. And what we're going to do is we're going to start by actually drawing kind of a basic shape for Abraham Lincoln's face today. Now we're going to try and do this with as little erase lines as possible. We're basically going to be creating this shape here where we have his face, and then we'll be kind of drawing his hair around that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to kind of keep Abe right here for us today so that you can see what we're trying to go for. I want you to go right about here on your paper, and I want you to draw just a curved line to begin with. Then you're going to draw almost like a wavy line down. Now, Abraham Lincoln has sort of like this very pronounced cheekbone structure down to his chin. So we're going to start by first drawing like that curved line for his forehead. You're going to draw a line down and then curve in. And that's going to be his forehead into his cheekbone. So basically from here down. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So go ahead and start right about here. Draw another big curved line out. Draw a line down, curve in. All right. Now we're going to draw in kind of like the basic shape for like the bottom of his face here. This will make more sense a little bit later as well as we draw in the rest of his features. But go ahead and start right underneath his cheekbone here. You're going to draw a curved line down right here and stop. Same thing other side, curved line down, go right about here and stop. And now we're kind of drawing in where his beard and his face kind of meet. So you're going to draw a curved line, and by the way, it's okay if these lines aren't perfect because people's faces aren't perfect. And then you're just going to draw a horizontal line, almost curved, to sort of connect. So I know this looks quite strange at the moment, but let's go ahead and maybe draw in his hair. That way it'll make more sense for us while we're working. I know we usually start with the eyes first, but today we're doing it kind of differently. Let's go ahead and draw in his beard. His beard is actually super fun to draw. I just want you to go to the side right here. You're going to draw a curved line down and in, and a big curved line out. You're going to curve around and up. Draw 3 curved lines. And then draw another curved line up, like so. There's his beard. We can draw in his ears next. And by the way, if you need to pause at any point, just so that you can, get your lines right the way that you want them, feel free to do so. And then we'll draw in his hair, just so that we can kind of see where we're going today. You're going to start from your left ear, draw a little curved line out and in. You're going to draw a line up, curved line across, and sort of like a diagonal. Draw a big curved line, a big curved line, and then a wavy line down, kind of mimicking the side of the head that we were on before. All right, so now it kind of looks like it could be a person's face, right? Let's go ahead and draw in more of the features. We're going to go ahead and draw in his eyes. They're going to go right about here, which is halfway on his face. We're going to draw a curved line here and a curved line here. Now our picture today is based off of some pictures that we have from President Lincoln during his presidency when he had his portrait taken. If you look at his pictures, when somebody is a little bit older, like President Lincoln was, their eyes appear smaller. So we usually draw them smaller. I want you to draw now a circle for the eyes. And you're just going to draw a curved line underneath and a curved line underneath. Again, if they're not perfect, that's okay. You can see even in our picture today, it's not 100% perfect. And that's because even when you look at President Lincoln's face, even his own facial structure is not 100% perfect. So kind of adding in these imperfections makes it look a little more realistic. Next, you're going to add in a curve on top of the eye and do the same on the other. President Lincoln's eyelids are very pronounced in his photos, or rather in his portraits. We also see that he has kind of what we call these little crow's feet here and here. These are just wrinkles that you get when you get older. And we're going to draw his eyebrows. Now his eyebrows are actually quite thick. You're going to start by drawing a curved line on either side. Now, I purposely want you to make his eyebrows not perfect because when you look at portraits of Abe Lincoln, his one eyebrow on one side is actually higher than the other. I actually think mine are like that too. And then you're just going to draw a curved line on top and a curved line on top. Perfect. We're going to draw in a line here to start the bridge of the nose. That's going to be just 2 lines down like so. For his nose, we're going to draw it right about here on his face. That's just going to be almost like a rounded out square for the bottom of his nose. 2 curved lines on either side for his nostrils. And then a line and a line to show the sides of his nose. Next, we're going to draw his mouth right here, which there is this very pronounced laugh line that we're going to draw in, as well as a mole that he has over here. You're going to start on the left, draw a line down, a curve, and then draw a curved line down. Go to the right side and you're just going to draw a line down that leads into the curve. And then he has pretty thin lips. You're going to start here and draw just a horizontal line. You can draw it in kind of a smile if you want. Add a little line here and a little line here. And we're just going to draw his upper lip because we kind of already drew the lower lip earlier. This is going to be a very tiny letter M shape. We're going to add in a few more just details on his face. We're going to add in 2 lines right here. A curved line here and a curved line here. Again, as you get older, you sometimes have like the parts under your eyes become a little more pronounced. We also can see some more pronounced forehead lines on the photos of him. So we're going to draw 3 curved lines here. And there we have it, a president. We're going to go ahead and just draw his collar. For this, you're going to start underneath his beard, draw a curved line in, a curved line in. Go out a little ways, draw a curved line down and a curved line in. Same thing, other side. Next, we're going to draw in his tie that he has. You're going to draw just a curved line to connect those 2 things together. And you're going to draw basically like a rounded square. So draw a square, but round out the sides. Draw 2 lines out and round them out. 2 lines out and round them out. And there you have a little tie. It's a bow tie in this case. You're just going to draw a curved line here and a curved line here to show that the tie is actually on his neck. And then we're going to draw in, the rest of his suit that he's wearing. So you're going to draw, starting here, a curved line down, go here, draw a curved line in, draw a curved line in, and a curved line down, and then just 2 lines off on the sides to make the shoulder. And there we have our drawing of our president here, our 16th president. Now what you're going to do is you are going to outline all of your lines with Sharpie so that your picture looks kind of like mine. You also can fill in his nostrils, and we're going to talk about some things you can do with our Sharpie to just make him stand out even more. So pause the video, do your outlines, and then when you're ready to continue, resume the video, okay? All right, if you're resuming the video, I'm assuming you're ready to keep going. One of the things we're going to do to make him stand out a little more in our picture today is we are going to double outline around his features. So I want you to take your Sharpie and you are just going to make the outline on the outside of him darker or bigger. Again, when we use different line widths, so like line widths, it can make our picture look more interesting. In this case, it kind of helps him look a little bit more like a caricature or a cartoon, which is okay for today. We kind of want that look. If you want him to look a little more realistic, you might need to go in and add more like different wrinkles and things, because people's faces in real life have a lot more detail on them. You can see as we begin to really outline the sides of him and make that part of his outline darker, he really starts to take on more of a cartoonish appearance, which makes him a little easier to draw for us today too. So all is well. All right. Now, we do actually have a holiday that celebrates both President Lincoln's birthday and President Washington's birthday. It's just President's Day, of course. But Lincoln's birthday, like his actual birthday, is February 12th, and he was born in the year 1809. So quite a long time ago. Also, guys, even though I said we're outlining the outside features only, I'm also outlining the whole beard just so that it looks like it's actually coming out from his face. But I'm not doing anything else on the inside. All right. Now you also can be a little bit sneaky with some of your lines as well. You can add in like some line thicknesses around different wrinkles and things or features. This helps them stand out from one another. This is completely optional. You do not have to do this step if you don't want to, but it's something that you can look out for in like other pictures or in your artwork moving forward, is like different line widths and how they interact with different parts of your picture. Ooh, I think I'm also gonna add in the same step right now, just a few little folds on our bow tie. So I just did like a little circle, and two lines coming out. All right, for this next part, you can use either color pencil or marker. I'm going to use a color pencil. And we're gonna fill in his eyes. Now, his eyes are actually blue, or were blue. So let's go ahead and just fill those in with whatever kind of blue you like today. We're also gonna fill in this little part of his mouth. That you can do with like a tan, maybe like a red color if you have it. I'm gonna use kind of like, let's see if I can find my tan somewhere in here. I have different gold colors, of course, and those all work fabulous. I'll just use a little bit of red, why not? And I can also put some dark brown on top of it later. Make it look a little more natural. We can also use our color pencils to add in shading to areas like the parts of the eyelids here. Like I said, his eyelids are actually, when you look at photos of him, quite deep, they're quite pronounced. So you can use like a dark brown color pencil, pressing lightly and holding high. Add a little bit of that color in here, even before we do our watercolor, just to kind of help those stand out. You can even add a little bit onto the ears. Again, we're kind of sketching in where we want our values to be here with the pencil. Okay, I'm gonna add probably just a little bit underneath the nose, a little bit over here, and probably just on the cheeks, right underneath where the cheekbones kind of stand out a lot. Now that's actually all we're gonna do with our color pencil, because for our project today, we're gonna be using our crayons and watercolor to really create a lot of these textured effects that you saw at the beginning there. So first we're gonna use our crayons. I have oil pastels, but they work exactly the same as your crayons that you have at school. The only main difference that there is that oil pastels feel a lot more oily, whereas crayons are made out of wax. So you're not really gonna feel them on your fingers as much. Now what you're gonna do is I want you to take a brown color, or you can use black, and I want you to kind of either unwrap your crayon so you can use like the side of it, or you can just use it as normal. If you use it as normal, it might take a while to do this step, but you can take your time. And what you're gonna do is you are gonna pinch and pull the color to add texture to his hair and his beard. Like I said, you can hold it normally and kind of lightly fill in like this. We're not trying to fill in all the little white spaces right now, but you can fill in the hair and the beard kind of just how you would color normally too. So you can pinch and pull the crayon by removing some of its wrapper, or you can just color normally. I do recommend having all of your strokes kind of go the same direction. If you really want to challenge yourself today, you can kind of think about the direction that his hair is going and try to make your strokes kind of go along with that. That might be interesting to see. But we're just trying to add some texture to the hair to make it look a little more like hair, all the way around. Okay. Now we're not drawing it today, but Abraham Lincoln is known for wearing these top hats, which was something that was a little more popular back when he lived. They're basically these hats that are super duper tall. And I think now in modern days, a lot of people like to draw the top hat very tall, probably taller than it actually was in real life. Once you have the hair and the beard done, don't forget about his eyebrows. And then I want you to take a black color. And you're essentially going to do the same thing on the suit. You don't really need to worry about the bow tie as much, but go ahead and do the same thing on the suit. Pinch and pull, or just press lightly and add the color to the suit, these parts here. Again, I'll kind of show you where we want those to be. This is a collar and we want that to be white. These little kind of folds on the side and the shoulders, that's going to be his suit. Last but not least, we're going to make the background his favorite color, which is also blue, the color of his eyes. So find your favorite blue crayon, or whatever blue crayon you have today. And again, you could either do the same technique where you're just coloring normally with your crayon, or you can set it on its side, pinch and pull to add in that texture. We're not so worried about trying to fill in everything, like all those white spaces, like I said. We're just trying to add in a little bit of texture to make it interesting. That's all. Okay. And that will be our last step with the crayons. The last material we're going to use is our watercolor today. For a watercolor, it might be useful to have a mixing tray of some kind. So you can either pull out an actual mixing tray if your watercolor set came with one, or you can use a plastic plate. Now we're going to use a very large brush, and we're going to start by making a color for his skin. Now for a skin tone, you can take a little bit of brown paint and a little bit of a light orange or yellow. I'm actually going to pick up yellow as well and kind of mix those together. Now this color is very dark, but we can lighten it up with water. And what you're going to do with this color is you are going to use a large brush and you're just going to paint this all over his face using really big strokes. This is what we call a watercolor wash. This is when we just use a solid color that's usually pretty light to color in a big area. You can go right over that color pencil. A lot of the times color pencil is just not going to budge, depending on what they're made out of. And make sure to get his ears and his neck right here, that little part. We now can add a little bit of shading, but maybe if your face is a little wet, you might want to wait on this part. So I'll wait with you too. Let's fill in his hair while we're waiting for that part to dry. For his hair, you can fill it in either with black or brown. You can even on your mixing tray mix the two together. Just be careful, depending on the kind of watercolor you have, your brown and your black paint might be kind of intense, which means that they have a lot of pigment in them, which makes them really dark. So just be mindful of that. And you can fill in your beard and your hair while you're waiting for your skin to dry. We don't need the skin to be like 100% dry, but we do need it dry enough to work with. You can see as we put that black and brown paint over our crayon, it doesn't move. That brown or that black color that you used is staying exactly where you put it and not moving an inch. That's because your crayon, what it's made out of, the wax and water, it does not mix. If you happen to have oil pastels like me, oil and water also don't mix. So the same effect happens, where we get this really fun texture left over while we have the watercolor filling in those open spaces underneath. All right. Now, if your skin is still really wet, that's okay. Just wait for it to dry. But we can start to fill in some shadows on the face and then the eyebrows. To do a shadow on a person's face, you're going to make the same kind of skin color that you made from them at the beginning. You can still add water to it if the color is just not light enough, but we want it to be, of course, darker than the color we used for the tone overall. With this color, you can go in. I'm probably going to add just a tiny bit of red into it. In places like underneath the nose, here where we added like shading with our color pencil, around some of like the wrinkles and the laugh lines. Maybe like underneath the lip. Of course, kind of on the ears a little bit. And again, underneath the eyebrows, where the eyes are. You can even add some of this like underneath like those wrinkles for the eyes, or even to some of the parts on the sides of his head. So then once you've added your shading, your picture might look a little something like this when you're done. Ooh, and don't forget, add some shading underneath the neck there. As well, we will need to fill in his eyebrows, same color as his hair. So if you have any leftover brown or black, you can just carefully fill those in. All right. Now we can fill in his suit. For this, we're just gonna need black. Now, black paint, like I said, it can get pretty intense pretty fast. So what I like to do is I like to get some of my black paint, put it on a mixing tray or a plastic plate, and water it down just a little bit. We're gonna fill in his tie first. We're gonna make sure we get the little part that is attached to his neck, right underneath there. And then you can fill in the rest of the suit. You can use more of the black paint if you want it to be quite dark. Just carefully making sure that we keep that paint under control. All right, so that's one side. Let's go ahead and do the other. I'm still trying my best to use long strokes and trying not to scribble, because I still, if I scribble, run the possibility of even tearing into my paper, even though the oil pastel is kind of there protecting it. Our very last step is to fill in our background. Now remember, his favorite color was blue, so you can use any blue that you like today. I'm going to use this one. And using really long strokes, fill in your entire background with blue. Now you're still going to be able to see your blue crayon underneath. So your background is going to have a little bit of that crayon texture that we see throughout our picture today. All right. Now, depending on how big your brush is, this part could take like no time at all if your brush is super big, or it could take you a while if your brush is super small. Whatever the case, just go at your own pace. Remember, there's no need to go as quickly as me. Now, since we did a whole picture with a lot of watercolor today, your paper is going to be very, very wet at the end of this. So please just make sure that you put this somewhere to dry where it will remain undisturbed for maybe like an hour or two. All right, just got this little top part of the hair, this little corner of the background. And with that, my picture is done. Now, if you want to go in with even more detail later with like colored pencils, or you want to add more detail in with crayons, please feel free to do so. But just make sure before you do any of that to clear your space, because if you're like me, I've got quite a mess of watercolors here. So I hope you enjoyed our project for today, making this picture of the 16th president, President Lincoln, and I hope to see you again for another art class very soon. Bye for now, everybody.